Tzolaim Tovim, everyone. This is day one of Tehillim for Ima's recovery. Thank you so much, everyone who participated in finishing the entire Sefer Tehillim on the day of Ima's surgery. And for the next bit, we'll all be participating together, saying one chapter of Tehillim, everyone together. And Bezrat Hashem, I will share a small thought on the Tehillim that we will all be saying on that particular day. So just as an introductory thought to Sefer Tehillim. The Gemara in Sanhedrin on Daf Tzadi Beis says the following: Ma Shemo, what will the name of the Mashiach be? So there are a few opinions brought in the Gemara as to what the name of Mashiach will be. Amar Rabbi Shila. Rabbi Shila said, Shilo Shemo, his name will be Shilo, as it says in the pasuk in Sefer Bereshis, Ad ki avo Shilo. Rabbi Chanina Amar, Chanina Shemo, Chanina will be his name, as it says, Ki lo etein lachem Chanina, that which will bring you grace. And the Gemara brings a few other opinions of various Chachamim giving their understanding of what the name of Mashiach will be. And as you probably noticed in the pattern with the first two names, the different sages in the Gemara essentially are bringing sources indicating that it is their very names that will be the name of the Mashiach. A third example, Rabbi Yanai Amar, Yanun Shemo, his name will be Yanai, or something akin to that. As it says, Shemesh Yanun Shemo. So this seems to be almost like a joke, that the different Chachamim happen to believe that the Mashiach will have the equivalent name to them, or something very, very similar to their name. The Maharal, in his Chidushei Agadot on this Gemara, says a very, very profound idea, that which the sages of the Gemara are discussing, the name of Mashiach, it's not coming to answer what the actual given name of this character will be when he comes. Bezrat Hashem, he should come speedily in our days. But rather, what is the essential quality of the Mashiach that will manifest in the world? And says the Maharal that quality, there is no singular quality. There is no singular quality of Mashiach that will be so powerful that it will dominate all other qualities. But rather, that this is what makes Mashiach so unique. That every single person in the world will be able to see his own personal quality, his or her own personal quality, being elevated and being brought into expression through the power of Mashiach. And this is the almost joke-like discussion. On the surface it looks like a joke, but digging slightly deeper, it's not a joke at all. That every single person finds their name in Mashiach. That is the quality of Mashiach. And of course, the quality of Mashiach is the quality of David HaMelech. David HaMelech is the archetypical Mashiach, and as we know, the Mashiach that will come eventually is just a re-coming, a re-entering of the energy of David HaMelech, as it says in the pasuk in Sefer Yechezkel, "V'David Avdi Yimloch Aleim," that in the coming of Mashiach, David, my servant, my loyal servant, will be king over them. It is the recoming of the energy of David HaMelech, the reintroducing of that energy into the world is the coming of Mashiach. This also explains the very, very powerful tefillah that we say every Shabbat in the sign-off blessing of Psukei de Zimra. Shekein chovat kol hayitzurim lefanecha. It is the obligation of all creatures, lahodos ulehalel, to give praise and to give thanks, al kol divrei shiros v'tishbachos David ben Yishai avdecha mishichecha. All of the praises and songs of David HaMelech. This is a very, very powerful statement. All creatures, not even all Jews, not even all humans, all creatures it is incumbent upon them to praise Hashem with the tefillos of David ben Yishai. Why is this that the prayers of David ben Yishai are so unique? I believe it's for this reason, that what makes the prayers of David so powerful is that they are relatable, not just relatable, but they connect in a deep and profound way to every single individual. Every single person across time and space can find their own personal yearnings, their own personal pain, their own personal aspirations, their own personal struggles within the tefillos of David ben Yishai. And indeed, this is the energy that David HaMelech brought to the world, and he will continue to bring to the world, and will culminate in the coming of Mashiach. That not just that we can relate to all of our personal characteristics and personal journeys, and all of those aspects become redeemed through Mashiach. All of our personal aspects that we bring to the table, and all of our yearnings and all of our pathways in life become redeemed through the power of Mashiach. And ultimately, the tefillos of David ben Yishai, the tefillos of David HaMelech, Sefer Tehillim, are the prayers that the entire world, every single aspect of the world, ad ha-prite pratim, until the fine particularities of the world, every single aspect should be redeemed. That's an introductory thought that I think is very important going into reciting Sefer Tehillim. And now just a specific thought on today's Tehillim, which I think it's a good place to start from chapter 1. Chapter 1 is a good place to begin. The Midrash on Tehillim, known as Midrash Shochar Tov, quotes the pasuk, Chochma ta'oz l'chacham me'asara shlitim asher ayu bayir. That's a pasuk from Sefer Koheles. That the wisdom will bring strength to the wise more than the 10 rulers in the city. And the Midrash gives an interpretation of this, that this is referring to the 10 authors that contributed to the book of Tehillim. While the majority of Sefer Tehillim, as we know, is written by David HaMelech, Mizmor LeDavid Mizmor, etc., etc. However, there were other authors that contributed. Asaph, the sons of Korach, there are different authors. Even Moshe Rabbeinu contributed at least one chapter to the book of Tehillim. So there were multiple authors that contributed, but one such author sticks out. He sticks out. He is the Chacham. He is the wise one. And his wisdom, ta'oz l'chacham, it brings strength to him in a unique way more than all the other authors of the book of Tehillim. And this is the thing that makes the prayers of David HaMelech unique, in that they are infused with David HaMelech's wisdom. And what that means practically is that David HaMelech took the experiences of his life and the challenges that he faced, and all of the wisdom and inspiration that he learned through the different interactions that he had with the great prophets of Shmuel and Natan, and all of the great sages of the generation. The David HaMelech grew up in Beit Lechem, as we all know, which was the seat of the Sanhedrin back then. Back then there was no great hall of the Sanhedrin in Jerusalem. Jerusalem wasn't even a city yet. The Sanhedrin, the 70 elders, they sat in Beit Lechem. So David HaMelech grew up in an environment infused with the wisdom of Torah. David HaMelech brought these insights to his prayers. The prayers of David HaMelech are not just personal whims. They're not just personal aspirations. They are aspirations that are infused with the wisdom of Torah. And this is why the very, very first chapter of Sefer Tehillim immediately jumps into this theme. Ashrei timimei derech ha'olchim b'toras Hashem. Fortunate are those that walk with sincerity and with humility in the ways of Hashem, devoting themselves to the wisdom of Hashem, and have their ritzonot, have their will, and have their aspirations infused with that wisdom. Very often, it's very, very easy to fall when we go into prayer. It's very, very easy. I'm speaking from personal experience. Maybe people can relate to this. It's very, very easy to fall into the whimsical needs and wants of the moment, to escape this discomfort, to satisfy this need without any broader perspective. Obviously, our personal wants are very important, but to always have them integrated into a broader perspective infused with wisdom. Why is it that I want this? What end do I want this thing? How does this fit into my bigger value framework? This is how we enrich our experience of tefillah in the spirit of David HaMelech. As the Tehillim continues, such a person will be like a tree that is planted on good waters, asher bi'ito yitain, asher piryo yitain bi'ito, that its fruit of this tree will be given in its proper time, va'alehu lo yibol, and its leaves will not wither. And as the Gemara in Avodah Zarah says, the fruit of this tree, the fruit of the tree being the human being is the tree that it's referring to. The fruit of this tree are the wisdom and the good deeds that the person does. That's the fruit, right? Imru latzadik kitov ki prima alalav yochelu. That people eat of the fruit of the righteous. The fruit of the righteous are the wisdom and good deeds that they put out into the world. Va'alehu lo yibol, and what does it mean that their leaves will not wither? Ela sichas chulin shel talmidei chachamim. This is the mundane chatter of the wise. Sha'afilu sichas chulin tzrichim talmud. Even their mundane chatter requires study. Meaning even the more tertiary and mundane and not so serious areas of their life are worth looking at and analyzing, because such a person who is infused with wisdom, someone like David HaMelech, who is constantly paying attention to the events of his life and trying to draw inspiration from them, who's constantly trying to seek wisdom from wise people, who's constantly living with that broader perspective of every interaction that he has, such a person, every single aspect of their life is infused with wisdom. Not just the super religious stuff, not just praying in the Beit Knesset, not just learning in the Beit Midrash, but every single aspect of their life is infused with wisdom until afilu sichas chulin shel talmidei chachamim, even their mundane chatter requires study. So today's chapter 1, Perek Aleph, we'll all say together, of course everyone at their own time. Bezrat Hashem, again, thank you everyone for joining, and tizku l'mitzvot.